You're welcome to the deep dive. Just in case you don't know what the deep dive is, I sit with prominent people, especially people who have politics in their DNA, but we talk about very important issues. We get to know them as well. And today I'm seated here with the CEO of Create Concepts. He also has politics deeply rooted in his soul. He's been telling me he wants to run away. I just don't know why. Mr. Stephen Atukwamena Forson, why do you want to run away from politics?
You know, what I went through in politics during my days in University of Ghana, you know, it's so difficult, and you know, it took a greater part of me. You know, and I know there's leadership in me. There's something I have to offer, but you know, like Jonah, you're always trying to run away from a certain assignments. You know, I've tried my best not to involve myself too much in politics after school, but one way or the other, I still find myself, you know, going in, because most of the work I do has to do with government and, you know, all that. Yeah, I'm not running because of anything, but sometimes the responsibilities just, you know, scares me. Looking at the enormous problems we have in this country, you know, allowing yourself or bringing yourself up to solve some of these problems, it scares me sometimes.
And being in the space helping solve problems, you think Ghana, there's a future where we can actually have most of our problems solved, or you working with governmental institutions? So to me, who say, we are not done, we are not there yet.
No, we are not there yet. I mean, we are making strides. Every government contributes its bit to this development, right from Kwame Nkrumah's time. Even the military governments, you know, everybody has contributed his bit to the development of this country. The only issue is because there's no clear-cut national agenda. We seem to be going all over the place, and so we are not heading toward a certain direction. So it makes it quite haphazard and quite difficult. We don't really know where we're going. Yeah, in recent times, we've made some strides. You know, okay. I cannot say entirely that we are not making strides. We are making some strides, but the strides are not directed.
Okay.
It doesn't have any, you know, national purpose, national agenda that the two leading political parties can say, okay, this is what we're doing. MPP did it up to this time. Let me also come and continue from this point. Yeah, so I know it's difficult. The challenges are enormous. You know, they are enormous. And you know, if I have to talk as a man of faith, I'll say we can overcome. But sometimes, if we try to temper faith with reality, you can even almost say it's too difficult. But I will still stick with faith.
So do you also agree with those who think that we should find a way of abolishing this whole every 4 years manifesto thing, and then get that Ghana agenda, and tell us, the leading parties, how you are going to continue, or how you are going to make the Ghana agenda come to life? Then we can use that as a yardstick to vote for you, rather than every 4 years people come in with their own manifesto, because it doesn't add up to the old things. They don't grow the system. They keep doing new things, living every 4 years for new parties.
Yeah, I subscribe to that ideology 100%, because that's the national agenda. You know, every developed nation, one way or the other, has developed a national goal or agenda. You know, if we had a national agenda, and the agenda was to first of all focus on education, build maybe 3,000 schools across the whole, second cycle schools across the whole nation, build maybe 100 universities across the nation, do the road infrastructure. Maybe let's focus on the eastern corridor first, and then go up and then come down through the western corridor, and afterwards do the, you know, if we had this, you know, clear-cut agenda put down, and now we measure the political party's success according to how well they were able to achieve the national agenda. You know, were you able to, and according to the point you do up to, we give you a certain kind of points. That, okay, you did up to this point, so because of that, you've done better. I think that will help the nation better than every government coming with its own manifesto, as you clearly said. It makes it look like it's a contest of who can, you know, play the populist game enough. You know, it's not always that the majority is right. Maybe the majority of Ghana now may say, we don't want education. Well, free education credit, yeah, they share the money and let us chop. Yeah, it sounds like what the populace will like, that we are sharing Ghana's money for everybody to get. But how is that going to help the nation? Is that going to fit in the national agenda? So if a few, maybe from the both political parties or from all the political divide, come together to formulate a policy, a national agenda, this is what we are doing. So when you come to power, this is what you are following. I mean, it will get to a point, manifesto will not even be too necessary.
Okay.
Because we are all following one agenda. But now we are voting for you based on how well you are able to champion the national agenda.
Okay, but in your opinion, what is preventing us from doing that now?
I would say greed, selfishness, this winner take all mentality. Because anytime NDC comes to power, they know that all their assigns and associates are going to be out of office, and you are going to lose this and lose that. So they don't want to even have anything to do with. Everybody is trying to outdo the other. And then when we have that kind of thinking and we are not united, we are not moving on. Greed is part. The winner take all politics that we are practicing here is also part. Selfishness is also one part. This is just to mention but a few.
Okay. I spoke to a politician before you, and he mentioned something called the godfather syndrome.
It's also part.
It's also part.
It's also part. That's another, another area that is hurting us. Now, the godfather syndrome creates a certain situation where people are now more loyal to people, so-called godfathers, than the country.
Okay.
So once my godfather is doing something, I'm not supposed to put on my analytical lenses, use my brain, my God-given brain, to judge the rightness or wrongness of it. But once my godfather is in there, I get up in arms and then I go defend the act. So the godfather syndrome makes the young ones loyal to godfathers instead of patriotic to their nation. That's also one of the greatest things that is disturbing us in this country. And it happens not even inter-political parties. It even happens with intra-political parties. Within the same party, you may have one person loyal to Akufo-Addo and the other loyal to, let's say, Bawumia. So it is when they champion Bawumia's cause. Even if government is coming with a certain agenda, which doesn't, augur well for the nation, but for as long as it is their godfather bringing it, we jump in arms. We will find all manner of reasons that make some level of sense to defend such acts. And it has become difficult for young people or even their own nation to get up and call what is wrong, wrong, and what is right, right.
Okay, so with this whole fix the country agenda that the young people are pushing, do you think this whole godfather syndrome is making our cries some ways somehow not clear? Because they groom us in a way, and we are calling for change. Is it because it's like the young people that are in power, they are disappointing with the young ones? It's no longer the old people disappointing us.
Yeah.
So what can we do differently? Is the cry even correct cry that we are crying, or we are just beating about the bush? Behind
the cry, there's an agenda.
Okay.
Behind the cry. That's why I always say this. Look, before you join someone in his cry, you have to understand why that person is crying. If you don't take care, you join to go and bury somebody's dead body that you don't know the dead body. I remember one time we traveled to a funeral in the Volta region and we got lost. We got to a different town. No, that was not the town we were going to. So we got there and realized that, we are in a different funeral. If you don't take care, you join someone in a certain funeral and then you weep all your weeping before you realize that, this is not the funeral I was going to. By then, all your tears would have finished. You get to your own funeral and you can't even cry. You get it? So behind the cry, behind the fix the nation, behind the hashtag, I always want to know, what is the agenda? Is the agenda genuine? Is the agenda for this nation genuinely, or it is for somebody's own parochial interest?
And so far, what have you seen? What are your conclusions on it?
There is a genuine cause for this nation to be fixed, because we travel out there. We go to Europe, we go to the Asians, the Americans. the level of development. But anytime I travel and I'm in a train or a bus and I'm looking outside the window, maybe in Europe or anywhere, anytime I'm walking outside, I'm thinking about my nation, Ghana. When will Ghana be like this? When will we have systems working? When will the country be so beautiful? When will the country be so educated? You know, and I'm worried for this nation. You get it? But this country has problems genuinely to be fixed. That's one aspect of the whole thing. Now let's come back. Whether it's a genuine cry, as the question suggests. Yes, we need to make our nations, our leaders fix the nation. However, we should also look critically what is happening in this nation. Whether we are making strides, whether we should jump up and then champion a certain cause. Certain causes sometimes look as if we are doing the right thing. For instance, the people who got up in arms to overthrow Gaddafi at the point thought they were doing a cause to, to better their country. Little did they know they were championing the cause of the rebel leaders who wanted the country for their own selfish, parochial interests. Right now, Libya is worse off than when Gaddafi was in power. I'm a critical thinker. I always want to analyze things. I don't just jump and then defend people. I don't just jump and then follow a certain hashtag just because and most of the people who are crying, fix the nation, fix the nation. You meet them and ask them what needs to be fixed. And most of them don't even know what needs to be fixed. And I have followed this conversation.
Oh, some of them have showed roads that's in deplorable states. People have showed schools, children writing on the floor and all. Some have been specific.
So I want that kind of specificness, the specific issue to be tackled. But if you say fix the nation, it is very vague. It is very huge. It's as if the nation is in tatters. Do you understand? When Mahama was in power, the nation was not in tatters. Yes, we know we have problems, but Mahama was fixing the nation also. Mahama built schools. Mahama built infrastructure. You get it? This circle interchange thing, Mahama did it. We are making strides. Ghana has changed within a space of, let's say, 16 years. Ghana has made tremendous strides. Sometimes we should pat ourselves at the back.
Ghana or Accra?
Ghana.
Because it seems what you've been saying,
Accra is in Ghana.
Yeah, but people that are outside of Accra, they don't seem to see these changes as much as we in Accra think we are seeing it.
Every country develops that way. Until a certain area gets a certain level of development. The next area doesn't. That's how it is everywhere. So the level of development in London can never be compared to the level of development in Wolverhampton. That's like a countryside. This is the big city where all the big industries are. You understand? So the skyscrapers and then the high-rise buildings, and the level of technology is even different. Even the kind of trains that move around London is different from the kind of trains that move around Wolverhampton and those areas. It is normal. Even if we do that way, it will not even be fine. How can we get a country decide to go and relax? So Ghana is making strides. If you walk around the areas of the airport, and it has to calm down. It's a gradual process. Development is not an event. It's a process. Ghanaians are getting educated. The fact that Ghanaians can even get up and then there's a topic and then all of us can jump onto it on social media and then be expressing ourselves, it is part of development. We've grown. Technology-wise, we've grown. When I started studying computers, when I got into technology very early, somewhere around 1996, 98 there. The internet cry now it was.
That's very early.
Yeah.
I was like 2 years old or something. That's very early.
Yeah, those times I got close to computers very early in my life. So, and at that time there was not even Windows. It was just this black screen. Windows 92. 1992, where were you?
You didn't want me. I wasn't born yet.
No, so those, and within the space, and I remember when telephones were just the booth, the phone booth. And you use your card. Did you ever use it? the card, where you buy card and then you get. So
Yeah,
that's
I used
how,
it.
and I've seen this growth. I've seen this tremendous changes, and we've made strides. Look, there was a time the radio stations in this country were just a few, maybe two or so. GBC and maybe later multimedia also came. Within the space of like 4 years when President Kufuor got in power, we had myriads of them, a lot of them. You get it? It means we were growing. We have grown. Right now we have so many TV stations, I'm even annoyed. We need to cut some off. Now telcos are working. Yes, it may not be as the best as we have it. Even the so-called first-class countries have their problems. When I was walking in the streets of London, I saw a white man sitting on the floor who is poor, begging for alms. So look, for even the Bible says it, for as long as we live, there will always be a rich man, there will always be a poor man. That's how it has always been. You get it? So yes, we are fixing the nation, but I will never want to destroy this nation just because I want this nation to be fixed. By some people are even saying the youth should rise, the youth should, and do what? And destroy our country so that we go where? Okay, if we destroy Ghana because we want Ghana to do better, like go to Liberia right now and go and see. If you are walking on the street of Monrovia, you see bullets, signs of bullets. If you look into the eyes of a Liberian, okay, who grew throughout the times of the war, you look into their eyes, their faces tell stories. Their faces speak of violence, the things they've seen. It's not easy. We shouldn't sometimes call for things we are not ready for. Yes, this nation needs to be fixed, but everybody needs to play their part. Government needs to play their part. Churches need to play their part, which I know they are playing. We, the citizens, also need to play our part. We are talking of bad roads. If you have money to build this big building, and then in front of your house, you do the road, just the road in front of your house, and the next person also does the road in front of his house, the next person does the road in front of his house, we will be constructing road, and the government doesn't need to come and spend the money. You see, these are some of the reforms that I want the government to be looking at, involving the citizens in the development agenda, so that we will all take part. You can't build a house and then there's no gutter around your house. When it rains, where will the flowing water pass? It should be a policy. You're will sit down, and then you don't have a big gutter in front. You've done this very well, concrete, that the water can pass through. Your house, you should be charged with something. You shouldn't even be allowed to continue with the building. It should be part of the plan that the local authorities will come and look at and then approve that permit. Then it should be part of it.
And that is where the conversation also progresses. That local authority will come, see that there is no gutter there, and then find a way to condone and connive with the person in charge, and then make it slide. And then in the next rainy season, we see floods. Do we necessarily have to blame the president for some of our states, or you've noticed it's we the people who are the problem, not really the government?
Yes, you see, we can't entirely blame some. If you want to make it simplistic, you can say, yes, it is we the citizens that need to, take up that kind of role. That's one side of the story. That's one side of looking at the whole issue. I want to entirely say let's let the citizens, but you see, leadership also counts. Leadership counts. That's why laws are there. If the laws are put there in such a way that it compels the citizens to do right, the citizens to do right. That's it. Government has a role to play, even in the lives of the citizen. And when the government decides to do these kind of things, the government will be unpopular. But government must. This is where I want NDC and NPP to sit down in a close, door meeting. Their leadership. Then they tell each other that, Charlie, we are going to do these things, these two things, they are out of politics. Anytime I talk about this, come and support me. See, they need to have this kind of discussion, honest discussion among themselves. That, Charlie, let's go and move all the people at Sodom and Gomorrah so that we can build an ultra-modern city over there. We are going to move them to a certain place. I know they are going to agitate and going to blackmail us with we will not vote for you, but have our back. Because you see, NDC and NPP, they are both partners in the developmental process of this nation. And if the two parties really love this country, these are the kind of honest conversations they should be having.
So now that they are not doing, it means they don't love the country.
This is where I want the youth of this country to channel our energies towards.
Okay.
But whether we like it or not, these are the royal families ruling us now. Whether we like it or not, look, after this 4 years, Mahama may come to power, or Baumia, or Alan Chamantin, or whoever comes from the NPP side may also come to power. Whoever comes to power, we owe our lives to this person. Do you get it? As I said earlier on, Mama contributed his part. A good father is also contributing a great part. Do you get it? Everybody is playing their role. So we have to just come to terms that, look, yeah, they are in this country. It is these two parties that are controlling us. Let us put the fire on them. But when we try to trivialize it with politics, partisan politics, our argument will just fall in the water like that. We are not making any strides. Because then I can see this fix the nation thing is becoming political. That's why it becomes even not necessary continuing. Okay. It has become political. If you attack NPP people will get up in arms and then defend. If you attack NDC people also get up in arms and then defend. So it is not going anywhere.
Okay, you were very supportive of the FreeSHS agenda that Akufo-Addo brought into the country.
Yeah, sure.
Do you, looking at the state of FreeSHS, how the children are doing doubles and all of that, the states, do you still think that opportunity should be put ahead of quality?
Opportunity to go to school
should be put ahead of the quality of education they are enjoying?
Yes, any day.
Why?
Half a loaf is better than none. Isn't that?
You just spoke as a politician.
You see, I spoke as someone who was deprived, who, without scholarship through SHS, I couldn't probably have gone to school. And you see, my voice has changed. My voice has become shaky because this matter, I'm passionate about it. I went through SHS with scholarship. I'm a deprived person. I don't come from a rich home. Probably without scholarship, maybe I wouldn't be sitting where I am. Education is the only thing that makes a rich man's son and a poor man's son sit in the same space. Education. So for me, anywhere, even if the child needs to sit in the toilet to go to school, the child needs to be there to go to school, to get an education. I will not wait for a 5-star hotel to be built for me before I go to school. I have friends who went to school in the very deprived villages. Deprived villages. You understand? And then they now find themselves in East Legon. Because of education, a poor man's son can also drive in a Ferrari. So I don't subscribe to the ideology that let's build all the schools before we can allow people to go to school. And this double track system, okay, people can trivialize it. I had the opportunity to work with the Ministry of Education in helping develop the school placement system. And I know how many students or children got opportunity to go to school because of this double track system. If previously the nation was taking, let's say,
percentage-wise, what was the increase? Was it exponential?
Exponential. Yeah. To say exponential is debatable, but I'm sure the increase was over 40%. Okay. I've forgotten the figures. I had all the figures because I managed the data when the FreeSHS thing started. And when they started doing the double track system, I was there. I saw it. I was in the room and I saw it. And I'm a data miner. I'm a data expert. I look at the data. Sometimes I became inquisitive. I want to look at these children who had gained admission, especially those who got the 10 ones going to the infant SPEMS. I want to know the background of these children. I want to know. So I'll check, who is this child's father? What do they do? And you can see the occupation of father. You can see farmer. Occupation of father, farmer. Occupation of mother, trader. You know, these are normal people, normal children who are getting admission to go to Achimota. Because now Achimota goes and then some come home. So it's like we are utilizing the school structure. So when the children go to school and they go on break, they are on vacation, the school is there, they don't use it for anything. Why don't we use that that period to educate the other group who couldn't get opportunity to come, who hitherto would have been left without education. Any opportunity to educate Ghanaian children, I'm for it. Even if you have to do three shifts, so that this country needs to be educated at all costs. One of our major problems in this country is because we have too many illiterates in this country. And I'm saying this on authority. If you're walking on the streets of London, okay, it's easy. People are enlightened. Like, nobody asks anybody direction. Everybody can read. You go to the supermarket, there's self-check system over there. Self-check. You can buy the thing, check yourself out. The people know what they are doing. I'm not saying this to insult our people, but you see, we need to be enlightened. Our people need to be enlightened to the point that it even increases opportunities. It increases, there are certain jobs that can automatically be there because people can read and write. Most of our people can't even understand policies. They can't even vote right. They can't vote right. So politicians will come and lie to them about something, and then they take it. There was a time a politician stood on stage and said, "Do you want to vote for this party? If you vote for this party, they will take straw and suck the sea small and take it to Kumasi. Are you going to vote for them to take the capital to Kumasi and take the sea to..." And Ghanaians say, "No, we will not."
Oh my God.
That's what illiteracy does to us. So when it comes to FreeSHS, it's a passionate topic for me. I talk about it. Throughout my time in Accra Academy, I was on scholarship, and afforded my family the opportunity for me to also go to school. Do you understand?
Okay.
So don't trivialize it. It's not about quality education. It's not about, and people say, why are we doing double track system? You are trivializing the discussion. You are making it trivial. But if we are to subject what they are saying through critical thinking, critical analysis, you realize that you are not making any sense. The time the schools, the desks are there and not doing anything, what if you use those times to educate another set of children? To me, the double track system, it's one of the best policies. If this government will be bold enough to champion it. But you see, because of also the level of our understanding in this country and the criticism that the other side is giving.
Yes, now that is my problem. So they've also, the other side, not NDC or MPP, both MPP and NDC, because they become oppositions at every point.
Every policy.
Yes, they have gone out there. They've seen how living is like. So why do they oppose certain rules or certain policies that will better the life of even the illiterate on the streets? Why do they do that?
Greed. Why do I have to, if we are competing for the same thing, why do I have to allow, it is greed and witchcraft. Why do I have to allow you to be popular? Do you understand it?
Yes.
If, look, NDC thinks if they allow MPP to implement certain policies, MPP will be popular and MPP will win votes. MPP is also doing the same to NDC. That's why we are here. We fight over everything. The policy, for as long as I'm the one bringing, look, FreeSHS policy could have been brought by NDC, and NDC people will support it. MPP probably could have opposed it because they didn't bring it. There are policies that NDC has also brought that MPP will oppose, and sometimes you think about it, why are we opposing this? Because every policy has its positive implications. Do you get it? Look, there was a time MPP wanted to come with, NDC rather wanted to come with the toll levy, and Ghanaians got up in arms and fought against it. But look, we always envy America, we envy UK, we envy the Switzerland. They are doing these things. You can't just get up, your car gets damaged by the road and then you leave it there. Somebody's car is damaged at the road and the person has brought a mechanic and they are fixing it there. It causes accidents, it causes traffic. And the amount of time you have to spend in traffic, it reduces productivity. All these things. So if you have to come up with a by force toll levy, that if your car breaks down by the roadside, we have toll trucks that are in a partnership with Ghana Police, and then they have to by force tow your car to a certain area. Then you have to now go for your car and pay a certain levy. The toll. You see, we are creating jobs. We are using people's not people not fixing their car, maintaining their cars regularly and getting damaged by the roadside.
OnePlay. Add class to your music.